SEO friendly. I want to cover today how to write an SEO press release. You need it to be press release. It needs to be a press release and it needs to be SEO friendly. It needs to be both. I couldn't get it out. I'm not sure why, but let's go ahead and get into this. Hello there. My name is Chris Palmer. In today's how to write a press release that's SEO friendly, I want to go over a couple of things. The very first thing that I'm going to cover is how do you go about writing a press release. I'll walk you through the process that will make it very, very easy for you. The next thing that I'm going to do, so number 2 is I want to go over and cover some important, helpful tips that will maximize the SEO of your press release, things like embeds and the titling and the LSI terms. I want to cover that. So number 1 is I'm going to share with you how you can write them a lot faster. Number 2 is I want to walk over some of the SEO tips that will help maximize visibility and also more clicks, get more traffic. And last but not least, I want to go over the backlinks that you achieve from building these press releases. We'll go over an overview of a live press release that I did for myself. And I'll walk you through these links so you can see the quality, see the sites, because I do this for people too. So let's not waste any time. Let's get directly into it. The very first thing is how do you go about writing a press release? Now, 9.5 times out of 10, depending on the service provider, they're going to charge you for the writing. Now, you can generally get a leg up. There are services where you can go ahead and submit your own. And if you're going to write it yourself in order to save, then generally you want to make sure that it's SEO friendly. So let's walk through this process, okay? And I'll give you a couple of helpful hints. So let's just say, all right, so first and foremost, let's clear this out just in case. We can go ahead and clear that out of here. All right, let's come back over here. We'll go over here to Google. All right, so I was working on some client stuff this morning. So here's what we're going to do. So what you're looking for is, let's say that you are an SEO agency. We're just going to use that off the top of our head. So what you'll want to do is go ahead and do the quotes and do SEO agency quote, and then do another quote and do press release. Okay. Now, what this will allow you to do is go ahead and search and find other press releases that have been done perhaps by another agency, so you can get a general idea of what it should look like, what you want to write inside of it, and even depending on your stance on this grayer hat type technique, you can even utilize this to model your own, whether you're using AI content regeneration, perhaps you're using an advanced spinner of sorts. You can utilize what was already there, create your own by changing out the brand names and then modifying the terms, the exact matches, and things along those lines in order to have premier optimization. All right, so let me go ahead and walk you through some more of this. So we're doing SEO agency, so we're just going to do, so let's do SEO agency, and then inside of here we'll do press release. Okay, so we'll do SEO agency and then a press release. Now we're actually looking for one here. And then another thing that I'll do is, if you can't find them like this, I'll do varying different user agents in order to find them. You can usually come across them. You'll have to start looking for them. Another one to do is if inside of your SERP, let's say you're going for a very particular SERP. All right, let's just say SEO agency. This is another way to go ahead and find them. So I shared that with you. That's one way to find them. Another one is going to the news tab. Under the news tab, if you scroll on down, what you can find is small business owner focusing on hiring SEO agencies. This is probably a press release. Okay. Now, I don't want to necessarily point these out. Global Newswire, here's another one where you can find sources or models. Okay. So this is a big distribution hub, but on here, what it's going to share with you, and we'll just use this off the top of our head or off the top of the bat, is it's going to give you your title. It's going to give you these lead pieces. It's going to also note out that you'll put your date. If you scroll down to the bottom, all press releases are generally the same. You're going to have your name, the organization, the address, the phone number. okay? This is pretty much the layout. Generally, in the very beginning, this is what it's going to be. It's going to give the location data. Generally, these are local based. It's going to tell you where the business is in the very beginning, and then it'll go into the press release. Now, different providers allow you to do different things for optimization. Let's move into section 2. I shared with you how you can find them in order to write them. All right. If you want me to expand on this, I can. What I use for the expansion, or what I generally do if I'm trying to crank these out really fast, is I use a combination of tools. Lately, I've been using one particular tool. It's an AI generation tool for rewriting. I won't get into that, but the other tool is, well, there's two of them. I'll use for scraping the initial articles. One of them is a tool down here called Scrapebox, and the other tool that I have been using lately that I really like is called Content Machine. Now, what these tools will do is they'll pull in other articles, or at least give me a lot of them to choose from, so I can have a starting base. And all you will simply do is, if you want to do it even easier, is this. So let's just say that we were going to utilize this. I'm not saying that this is what I would use, but this is just one way to go about this. So what you could do if you're, say you don't have tools, maybe you're on a budget, you just want to do this as fast as possible. You're going to put this inside of here. And then anything where generally they're going to list the business. So something like this, you'd go in here, copy. We'll go in here to edit, and we'll go to replace. Okay. And then what we're going to replace it with is we're just going to do Chris Palmer SEO. You just simply replace it. I mean, literally replace it. Okay, so find what we're going to do is we're going to do this one. So we're looking for their name, and we're going to replace it with ours. Okay, so and this is as crude and as simple and as easy as you could possibly do it. This is the simplest level of going out and find one that's in your industry from a reputable source, somebody that probably spent, who knows, $100 to $700, somewhere in that range, in order to get this produced. You're able to go in there, grab it, rewrite it, and then issue it at a much lower cost. Now, I'm not saying that this is the best way, but this is one way to go about it. All right, if you're trying to save for your business, there's a lot of other things that you should be utilizing budget for other than content. Content's a big money suck. But in any case, with that being said, there's a lot of great services out there. This is just one simple way that you can do it. Another thing that you can do is, this is how you find them, all right, in order to get inspiration, all right? Say you just want to do it a guided writing, right? You could do it the same way. You can utilize the news, but we want to make sure that we're staying niche specific in order to get the initial model. And then on top of that, we can use advanced search operators in order to pull in other data. So we'll stick with the same exact thing, but what we could do is we could do, say, all in text, okay, colon, and then we could do press release SEO company. Okay, so that's all in text. So that's somewhere in that article, it's going to contain those words. Another way to go ahead and find them for inspiration or to model is you can do, you could do all in title. Okay, so this is the title of it. So what we can do is press release SEO company. Now that's going to be in the actual title. So as you can see here, we have AP News. This is a pretty good link that you can generally get. Here's 24/7. So here's a better way of even doing it. All in title, or searching the titles for press releases. If you want to rewrite them, or if you just want to be inspired, this is how you can get them to write them a lot faster, easier, cleaner, and get the layout that you need. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 in the list, again, is things that we need to be focused on in order to get the best optimization for our press release. Let's cover those details right now. So first and foremost, what we are primarily focused on, okay, and I wrote the details within the description in this video as far as the title. The title is number 1. This is the most important thing. Now, generally what you're going to see is when you submit these particular press releases, they tend to want to rewrite them or make them very long. The issue with this is one of the most important elements on the page. You want to try to keep this short and make sure that it's containing A, the brand, B, the exact match of the keyword of your primary most profitable service. 3 is a relevant term, like an LSI term. So we want to make sure that we are using the brand name, an exact match, and also some sort of very relevant keyword, something like an LSI term. This is going to be ideal for a particular title. So let's take this into practice. So why not Chris Palmer, SEO Consulting, New York, right? Perfect. Location, exact match, brand name. You see what I'm saying? So this is how you would go about doing this. The title is crucial. Let's talk about length. Now, length is going to still be determined based on the primary keyword that we are targeting. So for instance, if I'm issuing a press release and I'm sending it to an internal page, let's just stay within SEO consulting. If I want to rank my SEO consulting page, we know for at least a short period of time that these articles are going to be inside of the main index. These are relatively powerful domains. A lot of them are DA40 plus, all right? Some of them will be no follow, some of them will be do follow. Majority are no follow, but a no follow is still passing power. With that being said, when we're looking at length, we want to make sure that the length of our article is still optimal for the SERP. The reason being is if the SERP is calling for 2,400 words and we only have a 650 word press release, it's not going to perform well for those 2 weeks or 14 days that it's pushed up to the top. It's getting that boost. So as far as word count is concerned, we still want to be mindful with the word count, sticking around the 750 to 1350 mark, but we still need to look at the SERP and see what that variance is, okay? So word count is definitely number 2. Now, inside of the article, okay, I see this time and time again. Relevance is not, or optimization is not what necessarily ranks. Relevance ranks. What I mean by this is if we have a primary keyword, let's say we're going for SEO consulting. Let's just say, for instance, if that's our primary keyword, optimization, if we go look at the top performing websites, that exact match keyword is probably on the page 2-3 times. Hypothetically is what I'm saying. But if we take a look at all the LSI terms or the co-occurring keywords or the match words, the words that bold up, if we're looking at all the other variants, I guarantee you that the top performers have way more than the guys that are at the bottom. So what I mean by this is still be mindful of your LSI, your co-occurring keywords, your match words, your variations. Don't overstuff the exact matches within these press releases. All the rules apply still to a press release, even though we're sitting on a very powerful domain. So what I'm saying to you here is we get our optimized title, we have our word count optimized to the SERP. When we're talking about getting the article written, we need to be mindful of co-occurring keywords, aka LSI terms, also our match words, and more importantly, getting the right amount of optimization, exact matches, and partials on the page. So don't over optimize, okay? Focus on LSI and co-occurring words along with variations, okay? So let's keep moving on. Now, another piece that I see, not all providers are going to allow you to include an embed. I highly, highly recommend that you utilize an embed. The reason being is a lot of these sites are relatively high authoritative. When they're authoritative, that means they're probably going to rank in a lot of SERPs and get a lot of eyeballs, at least initially within that first 2 weeks. Some will, some won't. But with that being said, we want to make sure that we're getting an embed in there. Some of the primary embeds that I like to use, and I highly recommend that you utilize, are going to be either your maps, your YouTube, or more notably lately, I really just like to embed the entire homepage of my website. Very, very powerful tactic to utilize. Embed your homepage into the press release, which is like a window to all of these sites coming back to yours. All right. We need to be mindful in this, but not all sites allow this. But again, I'm generally going to issue these to an internal page. If for some reason there was some type of issue, it would be irrelevant. I would just cancel that page out and keep it pushing. But let's keep moving on. So that's about embeds. We talked about word count. We talked about the titles. All right. Let's move on to the very next step, the links. Now, when we're looking at a press release, okay, these press releases are relatively the same over and over and over again. Here is an example of one that I recently had done for myself. Okay. So this is a press release that I had done for myself. This particular listing got taken down from a competitor, but that's okay. With that being said, this is a particular release that I did. This is a do follow link on MarketWatch. This is a DA92 link. Okay. I lost the listing, but I was able to retain the links. And that's what I want to go ahead and share with you. So as you can see here, what I generally recommend is you want to have at least 2 links. No matter what, you're going to have a naked because of the details that are in the bottom. So you're going to have that naked going to the homepage. The homepage is always good to link to, but we always want to pick that internal page. No matter what, you have to point to the homepage. This is like a rule of the submission forms. But aside from that, inside of the body text, whatever page I'm promoting, I want to make sure that I'm using an exact match anchor going to that page. So I always suggest using 2. We do not want to diminish too much of the power, but we want to make sure that we're maximizing our link benefits or our link equity. All right, so 2 links, don't overdo it. I've gotten submissions before, people are trying to push in 6. Okay, so links, I would stick with 2 max. And the reason being is you would say, hey, a link from one site to another, you don't get any extra power. However, I slightly disagree with that. If I'm getting a link from a website going to a homepage, but then I get a same link from that website going to the homepage again, then I don't get any extra power. However, if I have say MarketWatch and I'm linking one link to the homepage and one link to an internal page, then I'm maximizing the link equity going to my website. If it's 2 links going to the same page, nothing. But if I maximize one here or one here, or if I vary up the anchor text going to the same page, then I can get more of a benefit, more of movement. All right, so vary the anchor text, go to separate pages. I highly recommend at least 2. So we've talked about embeds. We talked about optimization, the title optimization, word count. We talked about the outbound links. We talked about how to optimize the article. We talked about how to get inspiration, find an article, and how to write an article. I've even talked about the tools in order to write these articles. Very simple. You can also find somebody on Fiverr to rewrite an article, or you can find somebody anywhere. You can do it yourself. It's very, very simple. All right. With that out of the way, now let's talk about and walk through a recent update. I'd like to cover some of the power. Now, I want you to judge for yourself. I won't give my opinion of this. I'm just going to walk through some of these links and you can make your own conclusions from there. All right. So this is a typical PR. This is one that I did for myself. I use this as an example. A, because I lost the GMB listing, and B, it's a good example. This is pretty much what I am able to achieve pretty regularly. I mean, this is pretty much the list. Okay. So with that being said, let's just take a look at this. And as you can see here, we were able to get 317 links for $65. So note that 317 links, $65. All right. With that being said, let's start from the very beginning. We have our list here, but I've sped up the process. Instead of doing them one by one, I found a tool. A internet friend of mine has this tool within the forum, and they said, hey, just use this. So I took every single site that was on the list, okay, up to 200, I believe I was able to do. Oh, no, I got them all in here. So what we're going to do is just go down the list, take a look at the DA and the actual page authority of these links. Again, there's 317 for $65. You submit the article. All right. So with that being said, again, here's the list, starting with Business AM News. going down, I just copied and pasted it into here. So let's just start taking a look at some of these links so you can see some of the quality that you're going to be receiving. All right. And this is pretty, this is pretty much the standard for this. It's lower to middle, pretty much middle tier of the road at this price point of what you'll receive. There's packages out there where this is one network distribution. There's other network distributions that are similar, but you get more. But I've seen packages where they're using 3 separate distribution hubs where you'll get 550 links, but it's $750. I think that there's a massive difference between these things. All right. With that being said, plus you're probably paying $150 for the article because it's written by, it's not an article that somebody got and recurated. There's a massive difference between services. So I just wanted to cover that with you. Okay. So let's go ahead and go through this. The very first site, as you can see here, we have DA 42, PA 28. Let's just do a quick glance down the line here. It's looking like the page authority. So page authority is important because this is where the actual link is placed. Okay. Now, the overall domain authority is important as well, but the page authority for this instance is even more important. Okay. So we have things all the way down to here where, this is just a search I probably had in there. 100. This is PA 54. That's probably a piece. So let's just take a look. We'll go down to the bottom. So DA 43, we'll just start going up. So now we're looking at the domain authority. It looks like for the most part, the page authorities are anywhere between 20. It seems like it's at least 20 plus. Okay. For domain authority, all right, these are pretty strong links. DA 40s, 50s, 60s. 100. These are all very strong down here at the bottom. As we start scrolling up here, we have some 15s. Here's a 13. Okay. Here's an 11, but a page authority of 22. All right. So that's quite interesting. So let's just keep going up here. We can just keep taking a look. What I'll do is I'll pick out the worst one as far as DA and PA, and we'll take a look together of what that site looks like. Okay. So let's just keep scrolling up here. I think the worst that I've seen so far is in DA 12 or 13. So let's just keep going up here and here's some DA 97s. So these look like it was probably just photos within the file text. That's pretty normal because they'll get those indexed. So I'm just taking a look at some of these. Here's some like Rally News. All of these are pretty much news channels, like Harbor Times, Hope Tribune, Idaho News Update, Illinois Headlines, Jacksonville Reporter, Jackson City Headlines. I mean, these are all location-based places. As you can see, it's news dot. These are literal news articles. This is a PR distribution. Here's markets where we're going into the financial stuff. Look at these domain authorities into the 70s. Here's 80s. This is a whole batch of DA70 links. Different pages. And then we're just going up this list here. Markets, financial content. So these are a lot of the same. I might have not cleaned this list. I might have just pulled it right in. But as we're going up here's what we have. Here's another one, Digital Journal. This is a pretty strong one. I think it's a do follow if I'm not mistaken. That's a DA89. So as you can see here, these are all relatively strong domains. Now, please note this. When you're doing press releases, regardless if you pay the $750, I've even seen $1,000 packages, or you're paying a $100 package. Any site that is doing multiple external links and also too, people are doing press releases. People are building links to these pages of all sorts. There's some bad perpetrators that are probably blasting these sites to smithereens. There's also probably good guys that are building high quality links to their pages. But needless to say, these particular websites are doing distribution. They're probably doing 100 posts a day, if not more. That's each of these sites. So what I'm getting at is 100 different people per day are buying a press release, one on each of these sites times 100. Each of those people, there's a potential chance that people are going to be building links in. Also, these particular sites are outbound linking at a massive scale. So what this does is a lot of links coming in of all different types. Along with that, a lot of outbound links going to all different sites. These are press sites. They talk about news. They have a lot of different varying external links and a lot of varying internal links. What this sometimes does is it spikes scores inside of these backlink analysis tools. You know, I was looking at some of these, and that is most certainly the reason why. There's a lot going on with these press release services. That's why I highly recommend either building yourself an internal buffer or building them to an internal page. So at all costs, something could, you know, hey, if something were to go wrong, you can always turn it off. But what's great about these is 90, maybe 80%. I guess maybe I should go through and check just to see what the percentage is. A lot of them are no follow because they're new sites, because of those reasons that I just stated. Just so you know, no matter where you go, whether you're paying 100, whether you're paying $1,000, you're going to see the same, you know, the quality of the site or the amount of posts on the site might go down, but you're still going to see a lot of external links and a lot of internal links coming in that are varying of all different kinds, because they're not really too particular with what they're taking in. They're probably not taking casino or pharmacy or anything like that, but nonetheless, they're still taking all different types of businesses. So with that being said, we can see here that a majority of these are 20 plus. Let's scroll down here. I did see some DA, maybe 12s or 13s or something. Here's a DA3, a DO4, DA9, okay, a DA60, DA40, that's the email form. So the 3 is the email submission, because they block the email address in case somebody wants to message you. It has to go through their server or whatnot. That's normal for these press release services. So let's pull an actual site that's just not an email form, and then let's just take a look. So let's just see this one here. So DA12, PA23, this seems to be pretty low. Let's see if there's anything worse that's not just an email capture form. Here's a 16, 9. Here's a 9. Let's take a look at this one. This is a 9. Okay. So we have a DA9. So let's just take a look at this. Open link in new tab. Let's just have ourselves a little look at this. So this is called Podcast Park. We can see here we have our title. We have our main. It's going to be the brand name, talking about the location. And then we're going to have the primary keyword inside of here. We have our article. We're having our internal page. And then it's going to the home page. So exactly what I say, that's exactly what I do. We have our primary, you know, pretty much our main details here. It doesn't look like they allowed the embed, so that's a travesty. But with that being said, let's just take a look at this. It looks pretty normal to me. Let's just take a look at this and see what it has to say. So no spam score, DA9, PA21. Let's just take a look at the homepage so you can see here. I mean, they're posting all different types of stuff, and this is pretty, I see this a lot. Like, maybe not this layout. I've seen better layouts. I've seen worse layouts. But you can see here, they're talking about all different types of stuff. Travel, technology, pets, food, health, home and family. Every single niche that's not considered, you know, on the edge, they're posting. So in any case, my name's Chris Palmer. If you have any questions regarding press releases, press release services for SEO, if you have any questions about how to write the press release, or if you want me to expand on writing it, maybe write one, anything I could help you with, please feel free. Go ahead and ask. Also check the first comment for links, and I look forward to seeing you in the next How to Write a Press Release That's SEO Friendly video. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. All right. That was pretty fun. Hopefully you liked that. Hey, Chris. Did I miss it? Nope. Hey, Chris. Hello, guys and gals. Hello, Chris. What's up, brother? What's up with you? You got to start your Morning live streams a little later. Keep missing them. Hey, Chris, just send you a text. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing very, very well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. This is just a blurb. I'm gonna go see my little guy. It's been such a pleasure. I'm glad I could share that with you. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumb. If you didn't, give me a down. And I'll look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thank you all. Many blessings. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.